back to my channel. Ever since I had put up the video about my COVID experience, I had a lot of people concerned about me and all that, and thanks a lot for all of you guys for showing your concern and sending your wishes my way. But there were also a lot of people who had a lot of queries about how the disease spread, because like I mentioned, we are in like kind of a village that is kind of remote, and the nearest COVID positive case was 25 kilometers away. So in this video I'm going to be kind of sharing all about the COVID and how it spread in our community. So this all started, I think it is always going to be our best guess. So it is not, I'm not saying this is how it happened. Like, we all are kind of like tracing back on the events and everything, and this is our best guess. So in the first week of August, I think from August 1st or 2nd, in Tamil Nadu, the lockdown started relaxing for offices and factories and stuff like that, and they had given permission for factories to work in half capacity. So there is a shoe company, there's a leather company nearby, it's like a factory, and ladies from my village like kind of go there to work. So when it started up, that is where I think everything started, because it's not just from our village. Ladies from all over this area, this whole Tiruvannamalai area, come there to work. So it's a huge factory. So even if it was working at half capacity, we're guessing that is where it started, because the first person who kind of passed away due to the fever and everything was one of the women who was working in the factory. Her own mother passed away. Every community is like kind of similar. When there is something good or bad, people kind of get together. All the relatives, all the people in the community kind of get together. In this woman's funeral, literally like 3/4 of the village had gotten together and to show their support and to show that they are grieving. So that was around August 10th or 11th, I think, and soon enough around 15th or so, people had all started showing symptoms. Like, most of the people who had attended the funeral, I hadn't attended that funeral, but my grandmother had attended, and in my home she was the first person to start showing the symptoms, and she had fever and she had weakness and she had body pain, and we like kind of bought in a local doctor, and he gave in some painkillers and some paracetamol injections to kind of control the fever and everything. So that is where it started in my home, and like before I knew it, I contracted, I think I was infected from her. So that is where it started, and in 4 to 5 days, both me and my grandmother, like kind of we were our health was deteriorating, not getting any better. So even I started fearing the worst. So I personally made the decision to take me and my grandmother to the nearby hospital and get tested. So this is how like kind of we got infected. My whole community is suffering from fever and cold and cough, and there has been a lot of deaths in my community for the past 20 days. And me being me, I had a small hunch and immediately I got myself tested, but the rest of them are not ready to get themselves tested, or they're not ready to accept that it could be COVID. And apart from that, few of them have also been tested for mild typhoid. So there is some other kind of infection also spreading around. So it's kind of very messed up right here where I am right now. And I have also raised a request with the government, and I have tagged in the collector of Tiruvannamalai district, Mr. Kandaswamy, and I have not received any kind of reply or kind of revert back on any of my messages. I want the government to take an initiative and kind of come in here and kind of like do a disease control, whatever it is. It may be COVID or it may be some other infections also spreading around like typhoid and chikungunya. So I'm kind of afraid for everybody, because even today one of my far relative uncle had passed away just this morning. And like I have heard a lot of like news of deaths happening around here, which is like kind of unnerving. And in this moment, like being isolated and being in self quarantine and seeing to it that nobody else gets affected because of me is the only thing that I can do from my end. The rest of us is left to the government, and rest of it is up to the officials. So I cannot go around and ask everybody else to get tested, or I cannot force them to kind of take the initiative to quarantine themselves and stuff like that. All I can do is quarantine myself and keep myself away from everybody else and keep my family safe. So that is what I'm going to be doing. Finally, the authorities have started taking notice about this community, because I think more than about 60 or 70 petitions have gone across to the commissioner and the healthcare providers and the in charge of this area. So from yesterday, the health officials have been visiting. They have been going door to door and finding out how many of us are unwell, how many of us have fever, and how many of us are showing symptoms of COVID. So when they came to my home, we immediately informed them that yes, we have taken a CT scan and it has confirmed that we have mild COVID, and that is why we have isolated. I have isolated myself, and this place is absolutely like kind of it complies with all of the rules that's required for home quarantine. So the healthcare providers have, just in case, suggested that I also get a swab test done. So that might happen in like a day or two. So that is just like for second opinion, just to confirm if it's like actually COVID positive. So that's that, and I'm really happy that finally people have started turning their attention towards this community, towards this village. So there has been a few news clippings as well, and it's like becoming kind of state level news right now. It shouldn't have gone this far, but better late than never. So in the next 2 days, I think there will be a lot of tests, nearly 70 to 80 COVID tests done on people who are already showing symptoms. And if these people start testing positive for COVID, then they might test the entire community, no matter if they are showing symptoms or not. But my doctor, when he took my CT scan and reports and he was reading it, so when he confirmed it to me that I have COVID, I immediately asked him that if it was COVID, then it would have spread really quickly. And I have been around my daughter like almost every minute of the days when I was ill. So he kind of guessed that most of us are asymptomatic, and we are like COVID positive patients, but most of them are not showing any symptoms. So that is what is happening in our community. That is according to my doctor. So now that the tests are being done, we'll know things for sure. And I think the whole like village, whole community will be under a lockdown for another like 15 or 20 days, which is like the right thing to do. From yesterday morning, people have started like kind of being more careful in my community, and from government side, they are like kind of spraying disinfectants everywhere. I think at least 2 times a day they're doing that, and apart from that, they are bleaching the whole area, and a set of medical team had come into the village, and I think over as of now around 8 people have tested positive in the community apart from me. They had got tested by the community doctors who had come in after we all insisted. So they came in and took a few samples, and out of which 8 of them have turned up positive, and they have been taken away to the hospital because they do not have the facility to kind of isolate themselves in their homes or anything of that sort. So they have been taken away, and I think that is the safest thing to do either way. And today their primary contacts have been called in for the test. I don't know if that happened. I hope they all did go and get themselves tested, and if the numbers are going to rise, then I think tomorrow or day after tomorrow we'll get to know. In my community, around 10 or 15 other people have tested positive, and they have been taken away to COVID facility. And today there was a death near my house, like opposite to my house, and they are saying that was also he was also a COVID positive patient, but he was suffering with low BP, and his kidneys had some problems, so he could not make it out alive, which is really sad. But lately seeing deaths and hearing about deaths in our communities like become a very common thing, if not an everyday routine, so which is really sad. And I just want that I should recover quickly and without any further problems. I just want this to be over soon, you guys. Seriously, that's all I want. If you're showing symptoms of COVID, please take this very seriously, you guys, very, very seriously, because like I said, in my community there have been a lot of deaths, and one of those people is someone who's like kind of close to me. He's like my father-in-law, and he was so strong, you guys. He's a farmer, and he does all of these strong kind of work, and all of those pushing and pulling and picking and throwing and all of those strong work, physical work he does. And even he was 65 something, and even at that age he was very active, and he was talking and shouting and fighting with people, and he was like completely normal one day, and the next day he started having fever, and we thought that it was just fever. And he also had like gone to a nearby river and bathed in it, so maybe we thought it was like kind of some kind of common cold or something of that sort. And third day things started getting really serious. He was not able to breathe, and he was not able to get out of the bed and stuff like that. And then we started taking the measures to like kind of get him tested and get him admitted, but none of the hospitals were ready to take him in because of his medical history. His sugar was pretty high, which he had kept it under control with medications and everything, but then none of them were ready to take that risk to admit him and give him that care and attention, because they all started saying that he's not going to survive. And it was very hard for us. For literally 2 days we were like taking him to different hospitals, from Chennai to Vellore to all of the nearby hospitals on the way, and none of them were ready to even commit to testing him for COVID. So that is how horrible it was. And by the time we came to a hospital which was ready to kind of take him in, the situation was already worse. It had already crossed the limit, or the saving point, and all of his organs had already started shutting down one by one. He was not able to talk at all. Towards the end of his life, he was trying to talk, but there was no voice coming out of his mouth, and it was really horrible for any of us to watch that from nearby. And his daughters, his sons, everybody tried to talk to him, everybody tried to do something or the other to kind of revive him from that situation, which did not work. And he passed away. The worst thing is, he was absolutely like more than normal just 6 days before his death, and within 6 days things got worse, things got out of hand just like that, and he was no more. So that is how serious COVID is, you guys. Everybody who is born have to die one day. It is like the truth of life. But then this is not the right way to like pass away, because until the last second people seem to have hope that it is just a disease and the person will fight it. But this disease is not something that we can fight against it, especially if you have a very weak immune system, or if you have some other prior complications like BP, sugar, or any other organ problems, issues or something like that. Then things will get horrible, like things will get bad to worse within seconds. Things will get out of control. So that is how horrible this disease is, and it should not be taken lightly. Another problem with my community is that they have as of today, the death toll due to COVID is the highest in Tamilnadu state. I don't know what the hell is happening, who is like not paying attention. I don't know if they are sleeping on their job or anything of that sort. Why? Because even when the disease started spreading in our community, it literally took more than 10 days for the officials to take notice and start taking action to kind of find out what the hell is going on in this village. And by then there had already been like 10 to 12 deaths or so. So that is how bad it has been, like around here itself. Then I can hardly imagine how horrible it is all over the state. So I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised that the numbers are high in Tamil Nadu. People have to start taking this seriously, and relying on an external source like a government or the healthcare officials and stuff like that is simply going to get you in trouble. So you have to start taking care of yourself and the people in your family, especially the elders. So children do have their own immunity, so it is not that horrible for them, but you have to take care of them as well. But elders are very important. Please take care of your elders, because we are not that kind of people. Like by culture and tradition itself, we treat our elders like God, and we need them for all bad and good happenings in our life. We need their advice and we need their support in our life. So you cannot think like they have lived their life, so it's okay if they are like, you know, if they pass away and stuff like that. There's no way that our mentality is like that. So please do take care of your elders and also take care of yourself. Of course, you have to take care of yourself first before you can, like, you know, care for somebody else. So build your immunity and from within, because this disease can be fought from within. So it's not something that you do from outside, like using sanitizers, using masks and all that is just only 25% of the equation. The rest of the 75% of the equation is in you. It's how you are physically. So you have to start building your immunity. So that is all for this video, you guys. If you liked this video, please do give it a huge thumbs up, and also share it with all of your friends and family members, so they also have a minimum knowledge of what happens when this disease strikes you or your community, and how to save yourself and your community from the spread of this disease. With every share, you might be saving a life. So please do like this video and share it with all of your friends and family. Also, do not forget to subscribe to my channel and also hit on that notification bell icon so that you will be notified every time I put up a video. Until the next time, I get back to you guys with another amazing video. Bye bye and take care.